Today, our world is like a big neighborhood where what one person does can affect everyone else. If a big country decides to change its trade rules or put taxes on imported goods, it can cause problems for other countries. Businesses in different places may have to close or pay more for materials, and this can make prices go up for ordinary people. We saw this with global trade wars, where countries try to protect their own businesses by making it harder for foreign companies. This doesn't just affect big companies. It can change how much money people have or what jobs are available. Trade is very important for countries to grow and do well. But now, instead of just being about buying and selling things, trade has become a way for countries to fight for power and show off their strength. Some countries use trade as a way to get ahead, even if it hurts others. This is why we see things like trade wars, where countries put up barriers to make it hard for other countries to sell their products. But these fights can hurt everyone, making goods more expensive and causing problems that ripple through the whole world economy. Firstly, to get to the bottom of what trade wars are, it's crucial to understand what tariffs are. Simply put, a tariff is a tax that a country puts on goods coming from other countries. For example, if country A places a 25% tariff on cars from country B, a car that usually costs $20,000 would cost $25,000 after the tariff. Countries employ tariffs for specific reasons. One common reason is to protect local businesses. By making foreign products more expensive, domestic products become more appealing to consumers. Another reason countries use tariffs is to punish or put pressure on other nations. For instance, in 2018, the United States imposed tariffs on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods. This move was part of a broader strategy to address issues such as intellectual property theft or trade imbalances. Consequently, China retaliated with its own set of tariffs on American products. In both cases, the use of tariffs had a ripple effect. Prices for everyday items like electronics and clothes rose, impacting consumers and creating tension between countries. Therefore, tariffs serve not just as economic tools, but also as instruments of geopolitical strategy. Moving on to a historical perspective, it's important to note that trade wars are not a new phenomenon. They have been part of global relations for centuries. One of the earliest examples is the Opium Wars in the 19th century, where Britain and China clashed over trade imbalances, particularly in opium. This conflict led to unfavorable treaties for China, leaving a lasting impact on the nation's history. Another example is the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act in the United States during the 1930s. According to Dr. Jane Becker, a leading trade historian, this act made the Great Depression worse and led to a sharp decrease in global trade, with world trade plummeting by over 60%. Fast forwarding to more recent times, the trade war between the United States and China has been making headlines. The US imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, aiming to address issues like intellectual property theft and trade imbalances. In response, China levied its own tariffs on American products. The tensions have not only affected the two superpowers, but also have had ripple effects on global markets and supply chains. This modern trade war serves as a reminder that while the players may change, the fundamental dynamics and consequences of trade conflicts remain incredibly impactful. Shifting our focus to the repercussions, when one country imposes tariffs, the targeted country usually hits back with its own set of tariffs. This back and forth can quickly escalate, creating a domino effect that goes beyond the two primary nations involved. The ramifications of such trade wars can even be felt by other countries that have trading relationships with the disputing nations. A case in point is the US-China trade war. After the United States imposed tariffs on Chinese imports, China counteracted by levying tariffs on American agricultural goods. This retaliation had a direct impact on American farmers to the extent that the US government had to step in with an estimated $26 billion in aid to help them weather the storm. But it's not just the governments and big corporations that feel the pinch. Everyday people are affected too. This ripple effect extends down the line to include not just farmers, but also manufacturers who have to deal with increased costs of raw materials and regular workers who may face layoffs due to decreased demand or increased production costs. In a globalized economy, the effects of a trade war are far-reaching and can upset the balance of local and international markets, affecting livelihoods in multiple sectors. On the flip side, trade agreements are crafted to counter the negative effects of trade wars by removing or reducing trade barriers. A prime example is NAFTA, which evolved into the USMCA. These agreements strive to boost economies by making it easier for countries to exchange goods and services. However, they are complicated endeavors. According to Dr. Harold Henry, an expert in international economics, trade agreements aren't just economic tools. They also delve into complex issues such as labor rights, environmental standards, and even questions of national sovereignty. Therefore, while trade deals can act as remedies to the ills of trade wars, they come with their own set of challenges that require careful negotiation and compromise. Turning our attention to the current scenario, the global trade landscape is ever-changing and fraught with challenges. While the US-China trade war continues to dominate headlines, the UK's departure from the EU, commonly known as Brexit, has also reshaped its trade dynamics with Europe and the broader international community. Adding to this complexity, the EU is actively engaging in negotiations with other economic blocs and nations, introducing another variable into the equation. It's noteworthy that in 2021, the United Nations reported a 42% decline in foreign direct investment globally, primarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These ebbs and flows in global trade and investment don't just make news. They can have a long-lasting impact, influencing financial markets, affecting investment decisions, and altering the future plans of businesses worldwide. Furthermore, the constant state of flux places an onus on both policymakers and business leaders to adapt quickly and wisely. The stakes are high as missteps can lead to economic downturns, job losses, and increased poverty. So what's the best way to navigate through this complex and uncertain landscape? Being adaptable is key. Companies are already taking steps to diversify their supply chains to minimize risks. For example, Japanese businesses have started to move some of their operations from China to Southeast Asia to lessen their dependency on a single market. Another approach is focusing on innovation, like in the renewable energy sector, which is attracting more investments as countries strive for greater sustainability and self-sufficiency. Sarah Williams, an expert in global trade, sums it up well. The way forward has to be about working together. Although going it alone may seem beneficial in the short term, it's not a viable strategy in a world where everything is so interconnected. Trade wars, in all their complexity, highlight just how interconnected our world has become. In this intricate interplay between geopolitics and economics, the importance of collaboration cannot be overstated. Working together may very well be our strongest tool in navigating the uncertainties and challenges that lie ahead. Thank you for tuning into Market Matters Media. If you're interested in gaining more insights into the global economy, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Stay informed, and we'll see you in the next episode.